Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Rox Burkey. Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Hey, good evening and welcome to Indie Beacon Radio. My name is Rox Burkey, and I am so delighted this evening to be able to have a consultant and publisher and a publisher's publisher, Bill Benitez. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's my delight. And you have a really busy kind of a life, and I know we want to focus on the publishing part of it, but I'd like to kind of introduce you to our listeners and tell me how you got into the publishing side of it. Is it through writing?
Actually, no, it's through writing, but not my writing.
Okay.
My wife, Barbara, wrote a book back in 2007, Lottie's Adventure, a children's book, and several publishers rejected it. So I had some publishing experience when I worked back in the government, so I decided, well, I'll learn how to do it. And so I published her book, and I've now published well over 100 books. So.
Oh my gosh, well that's wonderful. And so are you only publishing children's books?
No. As a matter of fact, only her first book was a children's book. The other two are adult related.
Well, very good. Where do you find your customers, I guess, your writers?
Well, I advertised for them for a long time, but now what I do is I offer a referral. I offer a $100 American Express gift card as a referral fee, and that brings me customers. So this year, in spite of this pandemic, I've done just about the same as last year.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. So how many books have you published this year so far? It's only...
This year I've only done 8. Last year I did 10. And I think I'll hit the 10 this year pretty easily, so maybe even more. So I feel pretty good in spite of the pandemic. I'm still doing some work.
So when you help your clients with publishing, what all does that entail for them?
Well, actually, they bring me an edited manuscript. And then after that, they get to approve everything, but they don't have to do any of the work. I do all the formatting. I work with them to create the covers, and I do all the uploading to KDP, Ingram Spark. I handle everything for them, and of course they get to see the proofs and make any changes they want, and so that when I finish, they have the book that they want. And it usually I do a Kindle version, a paperback version, and a hardcover.
Oh.
And I do 2 paperback versions because KDP does a paperback version, but bookstores aren't thrilled about buying from Amazon. So I do a paperback version with the same ISBN with Ingram Spark, with whom bookstores are happy to do business with.
And libraries too, right?
And libraries too.
So you handle the publishing end, and that's really important. Do you also help with the marketing and the,
Only slightly, because in all honesty, I haven't had great luck with that. I wish I could say I sell hundreds and thousands of books, but I have not had great luck in selling books. And so I learn everything I can, and I share that information with each individual, and so that they'll go on Facebook and they'll go on every social media and send emails to everyone they know, and I do put up posts for them, but the marketing end is basically I deal with a company that I basically turn them over to as far as the marketing.
So you partner with another company to kind of make it a whole package deal. Is that what I'm hearing?
I just recommend them. I really don't partner with them. I don't get involved in collecting anything. I just, it's somebody that I'm comfortable with, and so I just give them their name and let them do their own connection. So I really just do very little in the marketing. And
Okay.
I'm trying to learn more, and I'm constantly working at it, but I'm not going to make believe that I sell a lot of books.
That's a fair statement. I appreciate your transparency. So I know that you offer a consultation. People can call you and they can consult. What does that entail, and what will your writer potentially get from that?
Well, it's pretty much instruction. I have a book in PDF form that they can download anytime they want. But most people don't want to do that. They don't want to go through that. They want to talk to somebody, and I'll walk them through every step, how to format the book, how to upload to KDP and get your files accepted every time. And same thing with Ingram Spark. If your metadata doesn't meet their specs, they'll just reject it. And so knowing how to put it together so it's accepted the first time. So I help with that.
Well, that's awesome. I think the first time author really needs that kind of help, especially with indie authors getting so much more recognition and traction than they have before. So you've done over 100 books and you started with your wife. So how long have you been doing this, Bill?
So that was in 2008.
Okay.
So it's about 12 years.
Wow,
And
it's awesome.
it's never been until 2016, it wasn't a full-time thing. I'm on Social Security. I was an IT manager for the Hyatt for almost 20 years.
Wow.
And so I retired from there and continued, but I was publishing part-time then. Now I do it. That's all I do. So,
Now, does your wife still write? So you still publish her books too?
yes, I published 3 books to her, and she's into a 4th one now. It's been a lot more difficult now during the pandemic. It's really hard to get, to sit down and with everything that's going on, and it's been kind of difficult. But she's definitely on a 4th one, and
That's awesome.
it sounds
I've heard a lot of authors actually are having a better time writing because they are kind of a captive audience with that computer or with that typewriter, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, maybe for some it's been like that, but she lately has really started putting in a lot more time. But for a while it was, we're just stuck in the house, and it's more difficult.
So now that you've taken this on full time, have you found that you're meeting a lot more interesting people and getting to know different authors better?
I don't know if I've gotten to know more authors. I've pretty much gotten in that close to a dozen books a year, and I'm hoping to increase that, but that's where I am now. I'm basically a one-person business, so there's no aspect of the publishing that I don't do myself. So, I have an office in the backyard, which unfortunately my internet there is not working great tonight. I don't know why, and didn't want to take any time to try and find out. But that's why I'm sitting at Barbara's desk now instead of my own. So.
Well, I'm glad you have the 2 places to go. It helps being an IT guy when you're in the situation.
When you have computer problems, it really helps. So it's, I can pretty much fix anything. I had to do it for the Hyatt Regency here in Austin for all those years. So.
How long have you been in Austin? I'm sorry.
Well, I've been in Austin since 1986. But
Okay.
I went to work for the Hyatt in 96 and retired in 2016.
Well, awesome. So, Bill, we're going to take a short break to hear from our
Okay.
sponsors, and please stick around. We'll be right back.
The Fire in the Rock by Charles Henderson Norman was named to Kirkus Review's list of the best books of the year in 2016. It is the story of the Exodus as told by Zipporah, Moses' widow, long after the fact. But it is not a conventional Bible story book. It will challenge non-believers, but it will challenge believers as well, with a human perspective on a story that you have never heard.
Available on Amazon as a paperback, ebook, or Audible. Do you send book sales to a company that takes most of your money? Want to earn more money from your book sales? Do you want a bookstore that supports you? Introducing a new bookstore for indie authors and small press, B4R.store. Earn up to 80% of your book sales and learn how to market yourself. B4R.store.
Welcome to IndieLector.store, an online bookstore where the discriminating reader can find award-winning books. IndieLector.store is not a big corporation, so we can give up to 80% of the sales directly to the author. Help us support them by buying a great book at IndieLector.store.
Join us for the 6th Annual Authors Marketing Event in Granbury, Texas on July 23rd to the 25th, 2021, where authors share ideas and learn from the professionals over a 2-day weekend. Receive your book marketing certification from the only organization in the world that has been doing it for 5 years, Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-based organization that supports authors from around the world. Learn more at ame.authorsmarketingguild.com. Sponsored by IndieLector.store, a bookstore that pays authors their fair share.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
So, welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. I'm Rox Burkey, and I am so delighted to be able to spend time this evening talking with Bill Benitez. He is a self-publishing publisher's publisher, right?
Right. I just call myself an independent publisher.
There we go. Thank you so much. So I know that you've been doing this for a dozen years. You have over 100 books that you've kind of given a white glove treatment to writers to get them published. And you put them primarily on Amazon and Ingram Spark in both paper and ebook copies. So, other than helping out your wife, how did you kind of decide which kinds of books you were going to publish? I mean, you've got children, so did that have graphics in it?
The book that she published or wrote only had a single small pen and ink graphic at the beginning of each chapter.
Okay.
But I've done, as a matter of fact, I'm doing a children's book now that is, I've just completed the 5th volume, and it's all graphics throughout. It's for small children. And so it's, I can pretty much do any kind of book. And this one just has a lot of graphics. I don't do the graphics. They're provided to me. And then I sometimes have to format them a little to make them fit. But for the most part, I tell the artist that the writer has hired what I need, and they deliver that to me. And then I just place it in the book together with the author's text and put it together. So I've done that, and then I've done a couple of history books on Bandera, Texas is one, and the other one is about the Texas Rangers. The same author did both of those, and I published those. So I've done books about sports and mysteries and just about every kind of book that I can think of. I just finished one, probably the most interesting one for this lady who was 95 years old when I got the job from her. I finished the proof and delivered it to her, and she liked it very much. And then I went to publish, and she passed away.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, and so she never got to see the actual published book. But her daughter is, I'm dealing with her daughter now. But that was interesting, working with a 95-year-old woman. Pretty
Well,
racy
we
stuff.
all get old.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So history and children's books and mysteries and thrillers, is there any sort of book that you don't want to publish?
Well, I'm not interested in anything really pornographic at all.
Okay.
It's really off color like that. I just don't want to mess with it. But no one has approached me to do it as yet in all these years, so I don't expect that I'll be getting any of that.
Well, that's fair enough. And so I noticed that I believe you also offer services in Spanish. Is that true?
That's true. I am a Spanish speaker. Actually, it was my first language because I lived with my grandmother until I was 5 years old, and she didn't speak English, so you either spoke Spanish or you didn't get what you needed. So I started speaking English when I started school at kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely have, actually, when I worked in government, I translated often. Because I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, and there's some pretty large Latin neighborhoods there.
Oh, absolutely. And so I think that's really good for people that are listening to know that you do offer support so that their work can be published, but you speak English and Spanish. A lot of Spanish speaking people might get lost, as I know I did when I first started publishing, in trying to work through all those websites and all those formats. That's awesome. So how many Spanish speaking customers do you have?
I've had only a couple of them that speak Spanish, but their books were in Spanish. They're like me, they're English speakers, and their books were in English, but they also spoke Spanish. So I have not dealt with anyone where I'm doing a book in Spanish. I haven't encountered that yet. So
So
may come.
together for the very first time author, and you actually put together a proof. Is there that rush of, I've really created something for them to get excited about, even though I'm sure they're excited about their writing or they wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Something about seeing it in a book format, it's just like changes everything.
It changes everything. It really does. I found with my books, it's the same thing, until when it becomes a book, it's not the same as when it's a manuscript. It's a big change.
So who's your most, fun customer that you've been able to help publish?
Ooh, that's difficult. I guess I better say my wife.
No, outside your wife. I want to hear some
I
funny
know.
story.
I'm just kidding. I'm not sure. I think really it's been interesting working with this guy doing the books for little kids. That's been a whole different. It was an entirely different thing for me, and his ability to write in a way that little kids can understand, and then to work with an artist in India and get the kind of get the kind of artwork that he wants. That's been very enjoyable, and he's an easygoing person. So we've been working together now for, I guess, about almost a year
Okay.
to get in that time, 5 books.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a bit.
Yeah. And the hard part with that was really the Kindle version, to do it in such a way that it is easy to read, because the book was put together where the graphics are on one side when you open the book, and the text is on the other side. So when you get to a Kindle version, you have to do something so that it comes together. And I think we did a really good job with that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, now the better question. Have you ever worked with somebody on putting their book together and you just couldn't stand them? And you said, nope, thanks.
Yeah, I have. And fortunately, one of the things that I also do is I do the job, but I work in their KDP account, so that when I'm finished with the job, I'm finished with them. And so I've had one in particular that I was just thrilled to death when the book was finished. And the book came out really well, but it was really, but I'm not going to tell you who that is.
Oh, no. I don't want to mention names. We
Yeah,
don't. But you have had people that are like, yuck.
Absolutely mind-numbing.
Oh dear. And then they come back to you in about a year or 2 years and you go, I'm really busy right now. I'm just really.
All right. That's right. But she was very happy with the book, and we ended on very good terms. And I was really glad, though, that our arrangement was, when it's finished, it's finished. You're on your own. You handle all the sales. You handle all the royalties. I don't do anything else. So actually, the way I contracted it worked out well in the end.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, so we are at our break time again. We need to take a small break and hear a message from our sponsors. And when we come back, I really want to direct people on how to get a hold of you and some of the details on the services. So please stick around, Bill.
World War II, the Holocaust and a mysterious package arrives in New York from Germany 40 years after the war, involving 3 families across the oceans. Mystery, intrigue, and correcting the most heinous of wrongs. This is just part of the story Michael Newman tells in his book, Between These Walls. Available in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or at indielector.store. Buy it today and enjoy this thriller of a novel. Thank you for watching or listening to Indie Beacon Radio. Our sponsor, indielector.store, is the only bookstore that pays authors their fair share for book sales. Help authors to succeed and enjoy a great book by supporting them at indielector.store. Enjoy a 10% discount with coupon code SHOPPER20 at indielector.store. Coupon valid until December 31st, 2020. That's indielector.store, coupon code SHOPPER20. Dear Texas is proud to present the Lone Star Festival on May 29, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., where Texas authors, artists, and creatives come together for a Texas-sized event at the Seguin Coliseum, Seguin, Texas. Sponsored by Indie Lector, Authors Marketing Guild, and the City of Seguin. A perfect event for those who enjoy the creative arts. Register for your free tickets and prizes at lonestar.bookfestival.network. Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. I'm Rox Burkey, and I am here with, time has just flown. I'm here with Bill Benitez, and we're going to talk this segment Bill, if you don't mind, I want to make sure people can reach out to you. So first of all, how do people find you? Other than listening to this wonderful show, of course.
Well, my website, the easiest one is awbenitez.com. That's the easiest one. It has all the information they need to learn what I do and how I go about it, and to download a free book about self-publishing if they want to do it themselves. And then, of course, with my phone is 512-217-4803. And that is cell phone, and I always answer that. And finally, Bill at positiveimaging.com, and that's the name of my company, Positive Imaging LLC. So it's Bill at Positive Imaging. There's a hyphen between positive and imaging.com,
Okay.
and those are the three best ways to get to me.
Now, I'm also seeing a website, Publisher.
Yeah, the self-publishers.publisher.com. That is a website, and if they go there, they'll get it's basically the same website. I just did something shorter because sometimes people have a problem with the longer. But either one has the same thing. We'll give them everything they need, tells them everything that's in my contract, and I'm always ready to answer questions. I give a free consultation off the bat. And one thing I do also with every job is they get a website for their book. I
Oh,
build a website as a subdomain, and it's just for their book. So the PayPal button is there. People can go there and buy their book directly from Amazon or Ingram. Either way, I can set it up, and it'll be their site for their book. Nothing else on that site but their book.
wow, that's interesting. And do you maintain that site for them,
I
Bill?
do. It is a subdomain of one of my websites. So yes, I maintain it.
Oh,
If they have it changed, like this guy that I'm doing these 5 books, we started up with volume 1, and each time I have to add the book and put in the prices and change the website around to accommodate his next book.
Okay.
And I take care of all that. That's all part of the service.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great value add. And so you'll have a consultation. If everything's agreeable, then you write a contract with them. They sign it, you sign it, and you're off to the races.
That's it.
I like simple. So I want to make sure that everyone understood that website ID, and you can correct me, Bill. AWBENITEZ.com.
That's it exactly.
So that's really easy to get to. And would you repeat your phone number again?
Sure. 512-217-4803.
And I can tell you folks, from looking at Bill's website, the testimonials are unbelievable. I mean, words of gratitude and praise, and I mean, all sorts of things. So Bill, you know what you're doing. This is not your first rodeo.
No, I work to keep all my customers satisfied. I want them to be happy with their book. I can't promise them that they'll sell a lot of books, and anybody that promises them that is not telling them the truth. It's not easy to sell books. So, but it'll be a really good quality. They'll never have to worry about that.
And they retain all of their rights to their books. You don't maintain any of that. So it is theirs.
Not only that, as a company, I provide the ISBN for the book, but unlike other companies, they can take that ISBN and take the book to be printed anywhere they choose. They'll have all the files. They own the book. They own all of it. So they don't need to ask you to use the ISBN. They can take it anywhere they like.
So, Bill, we're at the end of our show, but I mean, I highly recommend anyone who is trying to publish their own book, ready to do it, the manuscript's on the runway. Bill is the guy to call to get this done and get it out before the end of the year.
That's right. That's right. Within 60 days.
Bill, thank you so much for being here this evening. I wish you all of the success.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website.
Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Rox Burkey. Indie Beacon Radio is produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for Authors Marketing Guild LLC, copyright 2020. Voiceover by Randy James, Lydia Bello, and B. Allen Bourgeois. To be a sponsor of the show or for more information, please email us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. To be interviewed for the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music Always Rejoice by Ramcord